Feeder Road, 21.3 kilometers, Trede Pichi Number 2 Link, 2.4 kilometers, and critical access roads, all totaling 24.65 to bituminous surfacing. The works commenced on 9th of June 2024 to be completed on the 9th of July 2026. Progress of work is estimated at 15%, and the contractor is currently on site and is working. The Highway Authority is undertaking four projects in the district: rehabilitation of Mim Junction, Manso, Edubia, Kumpase Road, 17 kilometers, and other critical roads. Upgrading of Mim Junction, Agroyesum, that's kilometer 0 to kilometer 7. Rehabilitation of Wioso, Mosiaso, 19.5 kilometers, and critical roads, 5 kilometers. Rehabilitation of Anuyan Kwanta, Mim Junction, 26 kilometers. Rehabilitation of Lot A. The current contract commenced on 9th December 2022 for completion on 8th June 2024. The works are substantially complete. B. Upgrading of Mim Junction, Agroesum Road. The contract commenced on the 28th of October 2024 for completion on the 27th of October 2026. The progress of works is estimated at 29.63%. The contractor is currently on site and works are ongoing. And then the last one, C. No, okay, the second to the last, number C. The contractor commenced work on the 28th of December 2023 for completion on 27th of December 2025. Progress of works is 5.5% physical completion. The contractor has suspended works. The last one, which is the D, the rehabilitation of Awian Kwanta Mim Junction Road, 26.4 kilometers. This contract was awarded on the 1st of October 2024. The progress of works is estimated at 9.3 to physical completion. The contractor is currently on site and works ongoing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, I believe what I observe in the 8th Parliament, we are not going to observe the same thing. In the 8th Parliament, most of the questions came and emanated from the minority. I believe this time around the majority will also ask questions. Today, 11 questions. Today, 11, you cannot come under point of order when the speaker is speaking. Today, 11 questions plus one urgent question, 12 questions, all of them emanated from the minority. The urgent question from the majority, yes, that's right. So, please, members, we are all entitled to ask questions. That's the way our constituent can even assess us. So, Honorable Minister, on behalf of the House, let me thank you. I mean, members can see that you candidly responded to the questions, and we will urge other ministers to also do the same. We are grateful to you, and you are hereby discharged. Honorable members, before we go back to item 6, that you candidly responded to the questions, and we will urge other ministers to also do the same. We are grateful to you, and you are hereby discharged. Honorable members, before we go back to item 6 in today's order paper, let me create the indulgence of the House to acknowledge our children who have come all the way from Bono region. Is that not the case? from Yamoransa Model Labs. Yamoransa Model Labs. And yes, they are being led by Jonathan Amponsim, who is the Senior Project Associate. And they are coming from Doma West constituency. Doma West constituency. And I guess the member is here, Vincent. Yes. Yes. I hope you take care of them.
Mr. Speaker, with your support, I'll take care of them.
Very well. Very well. Yes. We thank you for coming all the way from, is it Sampa area?
Honorable Speaker, they are from, we have so many labs. My lab is lab 12. We have lab 1, lab 2, in all the regions of the country. And we have Liberians and even Gambians.
Oh.
And it's an annual event. It is robotics. They do robotics competition and whole other things.
Very well.
And it's funded. I'm the promoter. We have promoters around. I know Honorable Elizabeth Ejari is a promoter for Bono East. I'm for Bono. There's another one for, it's all over the country.
Very well.
So this is an annual event.
Oh, very well. Thank you very much. Yes, Chief Whip.
Thank you very much. Speaker, I have my two schools from Southern actually. So this house will pay attention to this program, and then we need to encourage the agencies to sponsor it. They'll go to places, they'll go to the Silicon Valley and do wonders.
Then ask Honorable Yabuama to sponsor.
Yes, yeah, Honorable Yabuama, you and I, we must co-sponsor next year's program and ferry them to Silicon Valley in California. I thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
To all of
you
them.
are welcome, and I hope you monitor what is going on in the chamber, and that will motivate you for your future career. I wouldn't ask you to become a politician like us, but for your future career. Yes, can I also hear you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy to also announce to you that Lab 7, Yamranza Lab 7, they are from Biakunye constituency, and they came first. They were first last year, and this year too, they came first. So, Lab 7, congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. So you are welcome once again. Yes, honorable members, let's welcome the leader of the House to give us the activity for the ensuing 8 week. Leader, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, your committee, the Business Committee, met today, Friday, 28 February 2025, to arrange the business for the 8 week ending Friday, 7 March 2025. We could not meet yesterday for obvious reasons. The President was here to deliver the State of the Nation address. Mr. Speaker, as is the tradition, we arranged that next week there may be formal communications from the Right Honorable Speaker. 23 questions have been programmed for next week. 6 to the Minister for Energy and Green Transitions. 4 to the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. 3 to the Minister for Education. 5 to the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. And 5 to the Minister for Roads and Highways. 2 are urgent, 21 are oral. Pursuant to Order 91-2, statements may be made by ministers And honorable members, papers and reports may be laid. Motions and resolutions and consequential resolutions may be made, debated, and taken. And Mr. Speaker, if you recall, you directed that the Minister for Energy and Green Transition should appear before the House to brief us on measures being taken towards the gradual transition of the country to the use of clean and renewable energy. So the Minister has been scheduled for Tuesday, 4th of March 2025. For that purpose, we urge the Minister to avail himself so that we'll be briefed. Thursday, 6th March 2025 is the Independence Day and is a public holiday and will be observed as such, as a statutory holiday, so this House will not be sitting. So, Speaker, the major business for next week will be the debate on the message on the state of the nation. So, Speaker, a motion to thank His Excellency the President for the message on the state of the nation will be moved on Tuesday, 4th of March 2025. Honourable members are therefore urged to participate actively in the debate. The time allocation is as follows: that the majority leader and minority leaders will have 40 minutes, other 40 minutes, 40. Other leaders will have 20 minutes. Leadership of committee, because as opposed to the minority, equal allotment will disadvantage members of the majority caucus. The majority caucus accordingly proposed that the allotment of opportunities for debate on the message should be based on the proportional composition of the House. They accordingly proposed a ratio of 68 to 32 to represent the different sizes of the caucuses in the House. Having regard to the inability of the committee to reach a consensus on the matter, and in accordance with Order 2842 of Standing Orders, the question was put, and the majority of 7 members voted in favor of a proportional allotment of opportunity for debate. The minority, however, gave indications that they were not part of the decision and accordingly do not recognize the vote. The committee accordingly submits the matter for the consideration of the House. The sitting time is 10 a.m. starting Tuesday, 4th of March, and the time may be extended depending on the schedule of the day. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Order 216(2) and subject to Order 67, the committee submits to the House the order of business for the consideration and adoption by the House. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, the business statement for the ensuing 8th week has been read to us by the Leader of the House. It is now before the House for consideration. So, if any member has concerns, this is the time. As it stands now, I can only see the minority shape.
All right. Mr. Speaker, I think I will start and my colleagues will come.
You want to start and your colleagues will come?
Yes.
Then
Mr.
why
Speaker,
don't you allow your colleagues to come? Then you take the final lap.
Mr. Speaker, I have concerns. Let me raise my concerns.
What I'm saying is, normally, per our practice, fine. Per our practice, normally when the leader of the house of the caucus speaks, we don't normally go back. So if you allow the members to speak, then you give the final. Or if you want to change it, that's
Mr. Speaker, in the case of business statement, there are so many matters. So any member can speak to any matter, and I think it has been the guidance of the House. Mr. Speaker,
let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, listening to the Leader of the House and the Majority Leader on page 2 with item 5,
debate on the message of the State of the Nation. Mr. Speaker, I don't know where this is coming from, to the effect that we are going to debate on the message of the State of the Nation based on proportions. This is alien to the House. It has never been practiced from our Fourth Republic, from the first Parliament, the second Parliament, the third Parliament, up to the ninth Parliament. We have never set proportions in this House as basis for debates, Mr. Speaker. So when the majority leader was saying that they even took a decision in terms of voting, that is actually not the procedure. He is a senior man of this House, and he knows. Even the seventh Parliament, when the MPP had a majority of 169 and the NDC was 106, we never used proportion in terms of debate. It has never happened. So why is it that at the moment we are going to say that to debate on the State of the Nation, you are going to use a proportion and you brought your own proportion? Mr. Speaker, in any case, what are you afraid of? If 5 of you speak and 5 from this side speak, what are you afraid of? Because you believe that the message that the President presented is the State of the Nation. So, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect to the leader of the House, I think this part of the business statement should be expunged from the record because it's alien to the rules. And if you come and look our standing orders, if you check Order 115, it tells you Order 115, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll just read Order 115, where it talks about time and manner of speaking. Order 115 says that, subject to the discretion of the Speaker on Order 169(3)(b), a member who intends to speak shall rise in the member's place and address the chair while standing only at the catching the eye of the Speaker. There is nowhere in our standing orders which will tell you that you should use proportions when you are going to speak on the floor of the House. And we should not entertain this because we will be setting a very bad precedent. We'll be setting a bad precedent. And we on this side, we will not be part of this. We will not be part of it, and we will not entertain this because it has never happened. And we will not allow you to set a wrong precedent to us. So it's wrong, and Mr. Speaker, we will definitely not be in agreement with any proportion. If we are to debate on the message of the State of the Nation, if 5 on this side is speaking, 5 on the other side will speak, there is nothing to be afraid of. You don't need to say you are going to use proportion. We will all speak and we will all debate the message the President speaks, but we will not use any proportion to be able to do that. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I think we all came to Parliament for the same purpose, both majority and minority members. We in the majority have observed that there's one function in Parliament that most of us are not getting the opportunity to play, that is to deliberate in this House. Whether it was a previous practice or something we are introducing, we have to look at the merit. If you are going to do a proportional participation in this Parliament, it would disadvantage some of us in the majority. Simple, yes. But our duty, no, listen, Mr. Speaker, our duty here is for all of us to comment, and participate in every activity, any deliberation in this House. All of us are supposed to contribute, whether you are majority or minority. We shouldn't use partisanship to limit anybody from participating on the floor of Parliament. We shouldn't use it. It's because any statement you make in this House, I have the equal right with anybody there to participate. So if you are using partisanship to allow participation, it will disadvantage anybody who is in the majority side. For example, let's consider that one day the minority are only 10 members. Let's consider it. Tomorrow, the minority, you are only 10 members. How are the rest going to participate on the floor of the House. For instance, you know we are assessed as members of Parliament to get our chance to return. There are NGOs assessing our participation in Parliament. There are NGOs that will come with who are those who are speaking on the floor and who are those who are not speaking. I want to speak, but you are saying my party have 2 chances to speak. The other party has 2 chances to speak. Meanwhile, our number here is twice your number. Yes. You would have 10 times the opportunity to participate. Yes. But my party, even if they are allowing everybody to speak, I will only have 1 chance to speak. So when they are assessing parliamentarians, I'll be poorly assessed. But it is because of that. Just like your members have the right to comment on the President's State of the Nation address, I also have the chance, I also have the privilege and the right to participate. So we are going to do it proportional in every debate. In every debate, we must be 4:1.
Thank you very much.
We must not have equal opportunities as parties.
Thank you.
We must have equal opportunities as representatives of our people.
Thank you.
And that is the way we must participate in this House.
Honorable member, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we are by this going to introduce some unfairness and a novelty unknown to the practice of this House. Mr. Speaker, it's very important. The MPP has had 169 members of Parliament before. We've never on any occasion advocated for this. In any event, Mr. Speaker, if you look at...
Honorable members, please, let's listen to him. I'll also give you the floor to also speak. Please, let's hear him. Other than that, we wouldn't hear anything.
Mr. Speaker, what are we running away from? Paragraph 5 of the business statement is just a debate on the President's address to the House to thank him. Why are we rationing members of Parliament and deciding on the number of people to speak? What are we running away from? Debate? Majority running away from debate? Come on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Speaker of Parliament chairs the Committee on Selection. Committee on Selection only uses ratio in the apportioning of members on committees. That's all. This is a chamber for debate. This is a chamber for debate. And for the majority to go to a business committee meeting to propose this is unfair. It's alien to the House. We've never seen this before. And it must not be entertained, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Ted Abi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that if we allow this to go, it will disadvantage the majority seriously, because, Mr. Speaker, it is not for nothing that our standing orders gives equity to members on committees. Why? Yes. It is because of equity insofar as participation is concerned. What it means is that if we allot 2 hours for debate, what it means is that 183 or 187 will have 1 hour divided by 183, and then 80 divided by whatever. But what are you talking about, Mr. Speaker? It will be unfair. And seriously, it doesn't give equal opportunity. And as my other colleague said, others are looking at people who speak. They are assessing members of Parliament based on the opportunity to talk. So if the probability is higher on your side, what is going to happen is that they will think that our people, and Mr. Speaker, it is for this reason that the former Minister of Information had the guts to go and say that members from our side are not speaking because, Mr. Speaker, that is the reason. That is the reason, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that for the sake of equity, we need to go by the proportion so that everybody would have opportunity to speak. be it on the at the committee or on the floor of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I think it's just fair. It is just fair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have 2 points to make. One on this proposal for proportionality, and then one on something else which I believe should be programmed in the business statement for next week. First, Mr. Speaker, is this question of proportionality. For the purposes of debate, that is why next week we have an opportunity, I think about 4 days or 5 days or so, to debate. What is a debate? To exchange contrasting views on what His Excellency the President has presented. Is there anybody on the majority side who is going to say he disagrees with the President? No. What is going to happen, Mr. Speaker? What is going to happen, Mr. Speaker, is that in this debate, the contrasting views that you will get from this side. And that is why the convention has been over the years, from the first Parliament, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, that when one person speaks on the other side, ostensibly to repeat what the President has said, you will get a contrasting view from another person from this side. So, Mr. Speaker, we should not fall for this temptation that we are now coming to do some proportional representation when it comes to the debate on the state of the nation. The convention has always been that one from this side, one from this side. To our brother at the back who is laboring to answer the question, what formula should be used? The standing orders have prescribed the formula that should be used, Order 1151. It doesn't lie in the mouth of any caucus to make a determination on numbers. Actually, the rules say that it is the Speaker who examines the chamber and selects who should be speaking. And the convention has been that you catch the Speaker's eye and the Speaker selects one from this side, one from this side. So, Mr. Speaker, we should not get into this new proposal that is being given us, that we should now select 2 or 3 from one side before we select. We will not hear any contrasting views if we go that way. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the business statement for the week ahead of us, you would imagine that any other matter that is a precursor to the budget, leader, should be executed next week before the budget is brought. There are about 3 policy documents that the government benches have advertised to the whole country, which are relevant to the budget. If you look at your manifesto, I have a copy here. You have what you call the Economic Recovery Program, you have the Economic Transformation Agenda, and then you have your 24-hour economy policy. Mr. Speaker, the budget that we are going to receive on the 11th is based on these documents. None of these documents has been brought to this House. In previous times, documents like the Ghana Beyond Aid policy, etc., they will be brought to this House. I think that what the government benches should consider, including in this business statement, is bringing to this House the 24-hour economy policy, the Economic Recovery Program, and the Economic Transformation Agenda, so that Parliament can have an opportunity to see it, make input into it, query it, before the budget itself is brought. And I want to urge on the leader of government business that they should consider including this before the budget itself is brought. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, Order 216 of our standing orders clearly has given the mandate to the Business Committee to determine the order in which business is conducted in this House. Under the same order, the time allotted for debate is also determined by the same Business Committee. Parliament is a house of representation. We are representing our individual constituencies. And so when it comes to deliberations in the House, it is important that time allotted and opportunities given reflects the manner of representation. That is why the framers of the Constitution, in their own wisdom, decided that in determining composition of committees, which is critical to the performance of our duties as a legislative body, it is determined by representation in the House. That is why the ratio is used. So it is only proper that we have this determination done in such a way that because we have the majority and the numbers are so huge, that we are more than twice the number of the minority. In the debate of the State of the Nation, it is proper that we are giving more slots than the minority is given to debate. So, Mr. Speaker, we support not just the debate, all other proceedings. Mr. Speaker, we in the majority stand firmly behind the majority leader in proposing that in the debate of the State of the Nation's address, the majority be given more time or more slots than the minority. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to contribute to this debate. Mr. Speaker, the leader of this House, the distinguished Member of Parliament for Boku Central, is a man who is well versed with the standing orders of this House. Now, Mr. Speaker, when he spoke, ordinarily he would have made reference to the part of the standing orders that gives the business committee the powers to allocate the number of people who will be contributing to the debates. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and other extant laws of the Republic do not also give any such powers to any committee like that. Mr. Speaker, the closest we have is Order 216, which has been made reference to by my very good friend, Adam, Honorable Adam. Now, that order is short of also making a pronouncement as to the number of people who will be debating from each side of the aisle. Mr. Speaker, this is not the first parliament of this republic. We have heard this is the 9th parliament. And Mr. Speaker, I make specific reference to the 2nd parliament of this republic, 1996. Where the NDC had 132 seats on behalf of the majority, or Ghanaians generally. And Mr. Speaker, that is a statement which they all believe and imbibe in. We disagree to some extent to some of the things that the president has said. And so we deserve every opportunity to impeach what the president has said. And we should be able to do so. We should be given enough room. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, ordinarily, the proportion should even favor the minority than the majority. Equitably, and we will do so in accordance with our standing orders and the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable James Agaga.
Mr. Speaker, the arguments made by our colleagues from the other side suggests that when the motion is moved, all those who rise and catch Mr. Speaker's eye from this side of the House will necessarily speak in favor of the motion. Mr. Speaker, this is an erroneous assumption. In fact, it is a presumption which is rebuttable. We are in a democracy. Mr. Speaker, we are in a democracy.
Is it rebuttable, under Ghanaian circumstances?
The assumption, it is rebuttable.
If it is Europe, America, I can
Speaker.
see that. But in Ghana's circumstance, is it rebuttable? Honorable James.
Mr. Speaker.
I'm saying under Ghanaian circumstance. The way we see our discussion.
Mr. Speaker,
is it rebuttable?
Mr. Speaker, without attempting to draw you into the debate, I can say you are a classical example of the rebuttal of that presumption. You came close to rebutting the presumption some time ago when you stood firm and bold in taking certain decisions. At the end of the day, Mr. Speaker was hailed by all
for being courageous. Mr. Speaker, we must encourage members to take dissenting views, hold dissenting views and express them, regardless of which side of the aisle you belong to. It should be possible for my good friend Honorable Tampule to speak in favor of the motion which would be moved on Tuesday. In the same measure, it should be possible for my leader, Roxanne Nelson Dafia Mokpo, to speak against the motion. So, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, let us be guided by what the standing order says, and it is very clear.
What does
Standing
it say?
Order 2162 says, and with your kind permission, let me read. Subject to Order 67, the committee shall A, propose the business of each sitting and the order in which the business is taken. That's all, it's clear. Now, the business committee, Mr. Speaker, the business committee has clearly determined the order upon which the debate on the motion will be taken. The committee's determination is that we go by the proportion of 68:32, and this is representative of the numbers in this House. Mr. Speaker, the fact that one side won by an overwhelming majority does not mean that our majority status should work to our disadvantage, which is why we are saying let us adopt a proportion which reflects the numbers in the House so that members would have the opportunity to participate in the debate regardless of which side of the House what they belong to. The fact that I belong to the majority does not mean that I should be limited or restrained because I was voted for by the overwhelming majority of the people and I sit to the right hand of Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, let's do the right thing. Democracy is about majoritarian rule. The majority must have every opportunity to participate effectively in this debate. Mr. Speaker, given the numbers on this side of the House, if you limit us, you would be denying 184 constituencies equal opportunity to be heard. Why would 88 members of the House have equal opportunity to speak? Equal opportunity, 50-50. This would be unfair. It will be unfair and unequitable. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should go by what the committee has determined for us and do justice.
Yes, Honorable Seminamua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the same standing order 216 2A. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I read. Propose the business of each sitting and the order in which the business is taken, except that the House may determine which matters may properly be introduced in the House at any time. Mr. Speaker, I think this extract is so clear without any ambiguity. Unless somebody wants to undermine the very law that has conferred on us the power that we want to abuse in this House. It is so clear that the business committee, they will make the proposal or the propositions, but it is the House that will determine which matter should be actually dealt with and the adverb properly. So it doesn't lie within the jurisdiction of the business committee to impose on us anything which is unlawful. I think we've come too far to accept any imposition of one party's interest. We are here, at least understand that the Constitution, the standing orders or conventions are the very tools that actually guide us in this house. Looking at 1996, we had different numbers in terms of ratios, and we could not use that as a yardstick to make the decisions, Mr. Speaker, they want to make today. I'm advising my brothers from the other side that we want to live in peace. We want to adhere to the democratic principles that have brought us this far, and that has earned Ghana the reputation we have on the continent of Africa. If they think they want to abuse their number, and by doing that impose on us their interest, we will not allow that. We will resist any form of imposition, any form of intimidation, any form of threat that will undermine the very democracy and the constitution that is leading us. 17 must be respected. We cannot decide anyhow because we have power. We cannot decide anyhow because we think we are yielding power that Ghanaians have given us to distort and destroy the beautiful democracy we have. Don't let anybody think our numbers, they'll intimidate us. Don't let anybody think because we have these small numbers, they'll behave in a way that we will succumb to their threat. We will not be controlled by cowardice. Mr. Speaker, I'll end by this. The very Bible that we read, God has assured us and given us. God did not create us with the spirit of timidity nor fear, but that of boldness and courage. Do not be afraid, my people. Do not be dismayed. For the Lord your God is with you. And we will stand on the authority of God and the democracy and the constitution and the standing orders and live up to expectation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
Honorable members, please. If I continue to listen to almost everybody who speak to it, and it appears the same thing. Anybody who speaks from the right will speak to the same point, and as well as my group from the left will also speak to the same point. So let me listen to leadership, and I'll have my own conclusion about it. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, this morning, because I had some other engagement outside of the precincts of Parliament, the Chief Whip on our side stood in for the caucus at the usual business committee meeting. He has fully briefed me of what transpired. Well, regrettably, the majority leader did not give me a heads up on the intention of the majority on this very matter. But that is to be expected. We are in a political enterprise. Sometimes it is normal to hide some of your cards. So, though it's a surprise, but it's normal to me. It's okay. Mr. Speaker, let me make some few references, and I will leave the matter to our good conscience, to posterity, and for all to think through. Mr. Speaker, when I was a majority leader, and at a point close to elections and after elections, we were to take some decisions in this House. The minority then resisted, and through the resistance, they referred me to the Hansard of 2016 after the election, where my predecessor, the respected Mensa Bonsu, had made some strong arguments about the transition and the fact that they had lost elections, certain decisions were to be placed on ice. And they were fortified by that to say that government business could not continue. I've listened to the forceful argument by Honorable Edem Agbana. I've also heard my own friend, the Honorable James Agaga, talking about the majoritarian rule. Fortunately, everything said today will be part of the Hansard of this House. The practice, as I've known it to be, is that in this House, although we come here, majority, minority, when it comes to debates, there is equal share. Since 1997, when the first opposition party was in this House, we had a 61 plus 6 smaller parties making the minority 67, with overwhelming majority being the NDC with 133. The Speaker, D.F. Annan of blessed memory, the records would bear me out, that in all debates, you pick one from the right, you pick one from the left. The practice continued under Alajete, and then eventually under Okwe, where the MPP had overwhelming numbers in this House. The very first in the history of our politics, MPP had 169. Mr. Speaker, the practice did not change. With 169, the debate was still shared equally. And I do recall that even committee sittings, committee sharing, some consensus was built and some concessions had to be made by the majority to accommodate some more numbers for the minority. Mr. Speaker, delegation to sub-regional parliament and all, we all had some understanding of the way to go. Well, I am not going to challenge the majority on this. I will not. Because as Ngugi wa Thiong'o wrote in Weep Not Child, weep not child, weep not my darling. With these cases, let me remove your tears. The ravaging clouds shall not long be victorious, they shall not long possess the skies. If today you are of the view that in this debating chamber, they should call 7 of you and call only 3 because you have the rule, I will not debate or let us break shoulders over this matter, because I know that in as long as there is life, even if I am dead and gone, and this democracy that we have all established is in force, the MPP will someday come into power. Be it 4 years, 8 years, 50 years, 100 years. NPP will someday come. And the records of this House, will be being considered on the House floor. To the extent that the majority chief